All right, before we get into this, so the other night I was driving in a snowstorm that I was not supposed to be out in. That is for sure. But what made me think about this is during the time driving just completely white out, no plows out on the road, crazy, right? But I grew up in that type of weather, and it just reminded me of that. But one thing I did not even think that I did, and I did it, and I wasn't even thinking of it at the time until I saw a post that I planned on putting out, went out today. And it says, one time you're young and fun, and the next time you are turning your car stereo down so you can see better. And that's exactly what I did driving in the snowstorm. And again, I didn't even realize I was doing it till I thought about it later, but just driving along, and I'm like, this is snow's coming up over the hood, and had my music playing, right? And I just reached down, turned it off so I could see better, but I thought that was kind of fun. Anyway, thanks for jumping in, and you're wondering what the hell this is off the cuff. I'm going to tell you all about it in just 1 second, but like normal, I got a couple things I want to throw at you. First and foremost, Live Receipt. These guys make high-quality CBD product. It's so easy for me to talk to you about these guys. I've been using them for years. The other day, had a little rough day at work. Not every day is sunshine and roses. Came home, didn't sleep very good the night before, so put a little tincture under my tongue, and man, game changer. So jump over livereceipt.com and see everything that they got going on. And at checkout, use the code word table50. Yep, table50. And you're looking at 50% off. That's how much I love you guys, giving you half off everything at checkout. And it lets them know I sent you. And please support them who support us. So livereceipt.com, use the code word table50. And speaking of that, they just made a new website, and it looks beautiful. And I, as well, have my updated site. Would love for you to check that out. Walt'sKitchenTable.com. Got some blogs on there. Been having a good time with that. It has all the information you need to know, where to find all the episodes. Get in touch with me. I love when people reach out to me. It's a lot of fun. And also, I just added a page. Been honored, and it's been a lot of fun being on a ton of podcasts. People reach out to me for me to be a guest, and I reach out to them as well. And so what I did is I put a page on my website so you can reach direct links to everywhere that I have been outside of this platform. So check that out, Walt'sKitchenTable.com. Now, off the cuff, what is this? It's me. There's a microphone. You all listening. And whatever's on my mind, no notes, and take what you want, leave the rest. Thanks for listening. Now, today this episode is really heartfelt for me because it is National Storytelling Week, and storytelling is a huge passion of mine. I love telling stories, and I enjoy very much hearing other people tell their stories, especially when they're very talented in telling stories. I'm going to get into that a little later, but storytelling podcast is like a go-to for my wife and I when we travel. It's called The Moth, and people get up and tell stories, and they call them story slams. You get on stage, you tell stories. And if you heard the story before, my wife took me on a date, and I got to tell a story, and I loved it, fell in love with it, and it was amazing. I've done a bunch of public speaking, but standing in front of a crowd telling stories is awesome. And I would love to do that as much as possible. So if you guys know of story slams anywhere in the Northeast region around New Jersey, let me know. Hit me up. That would be great. And I'd love to support local stuff like that as well. But storytelling is an art, but everybody's got a story. Good, bad, it doesn't matter. You got a story. I can't tell you how many times I've had guests on the show, people that I think everybody's interesting, but people that I think is interesting. And I'm like, hey man, come on the show. And they come on and they're like, I don't really know what I'm talking. I don't have nothing to talk about. I don't have nothing interesting. Shit, dude. Once I got them on the mic, I couldn't shut them the fuck up, which is great. That's a compliment. So thanks to everybody coming on. And if you got a story to tell, would love to hear it. Hit me up at my website. And also, I always think history. I love talking about history, and it doesn't matter what kind of history that you think that we came from as us as humans. Me, I believe we crawled out of the mud and evolved to what we are today. And back in the caveman days, after a day of chasing lions and running from woolly mammoths and all that good stuff, we told stories around the fireplace. And that's how we communicated, right? So you got a young child, you told history and you passed along knowledge through storytelling, and then obviously throughout time, it became a written word on pen and paper. That was a long time. And then, of course, radio, then television, and now podcasts, right? Those are your big mediums of how to collect information. And I just think that storytelling just puts out a lot of information. And it also, a good way to look at storytelling, it can take a very complicated subject and make it digestible. If you got somebody that can tell the story around it, it makes it more understandable or easily digestible is what I'm saying. But going back to talented storytellers, people, I'm going to do a bunch of name dropping here in just 1 second, but these are people that have and still do every day inspire me to do this project along with telling stories and do what I do. These are extremely talented people. Of course, I'm only going to name a handful. And yes, there are countless people out there that do this. And if you got somebody that I'm not going to, I'm going to say some names here in a second, but if you got other people that really impact you about telling stories, I would love to hear that as well. So reach out to me there. But one guy that I think most of us know is Mike Rowe, the Dirty Jobs guy. I know that's back on TV. This dude is incredible storyteller, and all these names I'm about to drop, I'm going to have a link in the show notes, and I highly recommend you check these links out. Obviously support is great, but Mike Rowe is just, I can't even describe how great of a storyteller is. If you don't know, check him out. My favorite author, I have two favorite authors depending on what mood I'm in, and one is Mark Tufo. He does a zombie apocalypse along with a bunch of other stuff. This dude is extremely talented. I enjoy his books very much. Also CJ Box, he does a Joe Pickett series, and I like him because it's got a lot of history between my mother and I. My mom got me hooked on that dude, and she would buy the books along with others titles, but she would buy these books, and then I would go visit her and she'd pass them down to me, and I would read them and then I'd pass them down. So there's a lot of cool history there. And another guy, Aaron Mankey, he does lore podcast and a bunch of other ones. That dude can tell some stories. Oh my God. Check that dude out. And then those guys were before I started the podcast. They were very inspirational to what I do now. And then John Brasser Jr., I found him because his podcast is called The Kitchen Table Historian. And this dude can tell some stories. It's a true crime stuff about the history of crime in the Midwest. Awesome podcast. Enjoy it very much. And John's just a super great guy. So check that out. And then he was on the show quite a bit ago, actually, Jeff Belanger, and he has a podcast called New England Legends, and that's about like ghost stories and hauntings and stuff like that. And the reason there's many reasons I enjoy that podcast. One is the subject title, but they put a lot of production value into this one. They have voiceovers and sound effects, and they like tell a story like, hey, let's travel back and check this out. And they do the little woo, 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 woo. Hey, look, we're standing here in 1862 in front of this building. It's very lighthearted, and they're very short. They're only like 15 minutes long, and they're great. So Jeff Belanger, a New England legend. All these guys, I'm going to have links in the show note. Please check them out. Well worth the looking into. So I'm going to get you out of here because I know you got shit to do, but don't forget, Live Resheet, liveresheet.com. Use the code word table50, get 50% off. And my personal favorite is the tincture, 1,000 milligrams. Whew, put a little of that on your tongue. Yes. And then would love for you to say hello on my updated website, waltzkitchentable.com. You can find out everything you need to know. Also, how to contact me. Look forward to hearing from you. And remember, when I say have a great day, the motherfucker is silent. Till next time.